Hello, everyone, and welcome to Irish Uncensored. I'm Tyler. This is my buddy Grant.
What up?
We're just going to break down the game, and then we'll give our thoughts about everything really throughout and then after as well. It was quite a game.
Yes, it was.
I can't say we were right about much, but let's start going through the game. So the first quarter starts out, and in the first 5 minutes of the game, there's 5 punts, or maybe it's 6 minutes. It's like
That's how it felt.
it was insane. Like terrible football on both sides of the field. Nobody could do anything. Pine looked terrible. Everyone was dropping passes, and then also terrible passes. Like we had one that was about 9 feet over Mayer's head, and he still almost caught it because he's Mayer.
He just seemed like I'm not gonna he just seemed nervous. Legitimately nervous. It seemed like I mean there were a lot of errors. Like, don't get me wrong, he threw some bad passes, but just as much. The Braden Lindsay false start on
Oh,
third
on
and
third
one.
down, we did that 2 or 3 times in the first quarter, right? I know we
There
did
were
it
a
4 in the
couple
first half.
big false starts, and that didn't help your quarterback who's never started a game before. And they
Yeah.
were made by Lindsay, was one Corral and the other Patterson. Just guys that can't make those mistakes in somebody's first career start when he's trying to build confidence and momentum.
Wasn't Lindsay's on like a QB sneak too? It
Yeah,
was
a
something
third and
really
one QB
stupid.
sneak gets a false start. I don't know how that even happens.
Yeah, like you're not moving, man. Just stand there.
Yeah, I don't get it. But the first quarter was a wash. It's literally all punts by everyone. There's nothing great that happened.
Yeah, all punts, and then they tried a field goal at the end of the quarter and missed it. So it was literally just awful to watch. Then we go into the second quarter, and we start to move the ball after we had this notorious fumble where we can't even exchange the ball. Like throughout the whole first half, especially, seems like every exchange out of the shotgun and regular, like
Mhm.
behind the center, was bobbled.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wasn't looking at the ball or what, but we couldn't get anything off.
Well, there was one snap, and I can't remember if this exact one was in the first half. I think they all pretty much were, but there was one that legit hit Drew in the face.
Yep.
There was the fumble. There was the one where he bobbled it so bad that it almost was a direct snap to Estime because
Yeah.
Estime just took it out of his hands and went because he had to.
Was it the touchdown? Was it this one?
Um, I don't know if it was that one, but it could have been. It could
Or
have been.
maybe that was bobbled between them, actually. I think
Maybe.
he caught it clean and then he bobbled it between them, and then we scored a touchdown. Like that,
Nothing was
even
smooth.
it just
Nothing.
looked so bad. Like he had never done it before.
Yeah, it was like, were you even practicing before this? Like, this is, you doesn't matter what year you are. If you're at D1 university like Notre Dame, you should be able to handle a shotgun snap and handle a snap from under center. The under center ones, I guess, a little more excusable because like you don't do it as often anymore in the game. So, I guess whatever, don't do that again, but I can understand that. But all the bobbling of the shotgun snaps that was going on, like that, especially when you think of it in the sense of like, think about how much time you have in a pocket to throw the ball or hand it off or make a read and you bobble it. You can't do that.
Well, apparently we can. And after that happened, Cal ended up scoring a touchdown like right at the beginning of the quarter. And then we came back and actually moved the ball down the field. And we had a nice pass to Tyree, like right up the middle. It seemed like we could only make passes that were right in front of us, like nothing on the sides and nothing upfield, at least initially in the game. We couldn't do anything that wasn't just like, okay, here's an easy pass. And we were even fucking those up somehow.
Yeah. I know there was a play like it just felt like in the first half we couldn't get out of our own way. I know like what was it? Was it Styles who the ball just went right through his hands. He's wide
Yeah,
open.
that was this one. Literally just like hit him in the chest and somehow it looked like a glitch on a video game.
I mean, I want you to know that overall for the game, Drew Pine was 17 for 23.
I
And
know.
and we know for a fact that Styles dropped one, and two of them he threw like instantly into the ground, like in the first drive or two of the game. So there are three of his six incompletions
Yeah,
for
so
the game.
really Pine had a decent game, but it didn't
It was all
feel
short.
good at all.
It's
It
because there
was
was no stretching of the field. Everything was so short. Everything was so like,
not
wow.
only that, but like the bobbles and the fumbles and just it was an ugly game that statistically looked okay. It's like one of those where you have to look at it as a coach and not take the numbers at face value because that's not how the game played at all.
No, not at all.
And if you're looking at the stats and that's all that matter to you, then like you are missing the whole point of the game.
Yeah. It
So
wasn't a well played first half at all. Now,
by either team.
no. Now I will say the closer we got to the second half, the O line built. Like they started playing better. Like once we got past the false starts and the bobbled snap, like we started getting a little better on the offensive line, which was good to see. Like going into halftime, it didn't feel like we couldn't run the ball. You know what I mean? Like it felt like if we really wanted to, we could.
Yeah, and that leads into the second half. So it was 10-7, Cal's lead going into the second half, and then we start out with a 60-yard drive with Audric Estime scoring. And that was that picture I showed earlier as well. It was really just an overall great drive. We got an easy touchdown. I
Mhm.
can't believe I even said that. It doesn't seem like we get anything easy anymore,
No,
but it was overall solid.
no, it was a great drive. I mean, all around, great drive. There's nothing really else to say about it. I mean, I love Estime. I
Yeah.
There were plays he was in, and I remember saying this to you because Tyler and I can't watch the games. We usually watch games together, but if we can't, we're usually like on the phone, just kind of going back and forth about the game. There were plays when Estime got the ball, and I legitimately thought he was Chris Tyree, how he was moving.
Yeah. That happened a couple times. We
I
both
mean,
said, "Oh, I thought that was Tyree."
there were multiple plays like that. There were multiple plays. There were plays where he'd get the ball and he'd make such a quick cut, and I'm like, there's no way this dude is pushing 230. Like, wow.
Yeah, he's shifty and explosive and strong. Also, he had the one catch up the middle of the field where he fell. I think that may have been going into his touchdown.
It might have
It,
been where
and
the angle
he
route.
was scooting. Like if he wouldn't have basically just lost his footing, he would have scored on that play.
Yeah.
Then they come down with a 75-yard drive and score on a 1-yard touchdown run. So that puts them up 17-14. Can we talk about first of all, Jack Plummer is a terrible quarterback. Thank God we got to play him 2 years in a row.
Hmm.
And how did he get outside to run? He's not a running quarterback. He's not shifty, but somehow he was torching us on the ground.
It was just a complete loss of contain. And I feel like
But how many times can we allow that? It happened like
I
6
agree.
times.
I agree. I think that our guys were just pinning their ears back and like it just I mean like an over pursue, lose contain,
Who
really
was the
trying to
guy
make
you
a
were saying the
play.
whole game that was just playing like a chicken with his head cut off?
Maurice Leafau.
Yeah,
This man
yeah.
literally was trying like I look, I never played football at a high level. I stopped playing football in the 8th grade. I'm nothing, never been good at football. But why the play's going on and you literally are just as fast and hard as you can. You're not looking to evaluate the play. You're not looking to see where the running back's going to be. You're not looking to see if it's run or pass. You are just running as hard as you can into whatever is in front of you.
Yep.
And
He
the
would blitz and he just runs straight into the O lineman. And I understand, like, it's part of it. Like, you get blocked, but it didn't even look like he's trying to shed the block. It's like, how hard can I hit the O lineman? That's his
yes,
goal.
It looked like he was trying to knock the O linemen on their butts, which I don't think he ever
He
successfully did
never
the whole
came
game
close.
because those guys are massive human beings.
Yeah.
Like it just looked very like sloppy. Like if that's all you're going to use him for, then I don't necessarily get it. But maybe that's part of Matt. Maybe he's doing what he's told. I don't know.
There's no fucking way that's what he's told. Go fill a spot because that's what he's
And
doing. Like
fill a
he's
hole. That's
not
all it
making
was.
plays. He's just out there running hard, which
Yeah,
is good. I mean, maybe the next guy isn't as running hard.
I don't know.
I don't know. But okay, so they went up 17-14, and then we go down, kick a field goal. We get the ball back right after that, and then we score again from a 6-yard pass to Michael Mayer, which puts us up 24-17. Um, we're definitely just looking a lot better. We look like we can actually make plays. Where people are catching the ball. Estime and Tyree are like workhorses for us at this point.
They
And
led the team in receptions, both of
yeah,
1 and 2 in receptions.
yeah, basically, like I said earlier, we just couldn't get the ball out besides right in front of us. And I think that had to be part of the game plan. But Pine showed early that he just isn't very comfortable back there at throwing anything past like the line of scrimmage, which
Yeah.
sucks. But
I'm hoping
whatever. Hey,
hoping it was just a building piece. Like that's really like
yeah,
truly the first half, if you want to call it nerves or whatever you want to call it, or a combination of nerves and errors, because let's call it what it is. There were drop passes, there were false starts that fucked up everything. That had nothing to do with Pine. I mean, but the second half, the offense looked good,
better. I mean,
better. I don't know if
it's
we
hard to say because I don't think our offense looked good, but it's hard to be
better.
super negative because I think it's looked the best of the whole year.
Yeah, and it's like the O line, the second half, man, they were getting some push, and it was like, this is what I thought the O line would look like week 1. That's what I
I
thought they'd look like.
I was watching a podcast or God, I don't remember who it was, but they were saying that if Buckner was out there, he'd have just been torching them. I'm just thinking, man, he
I
didn't
don't know.
against Marshall.
No,
I don't think so.
and then Marshall lost to like Bowling Green in overtime. Like,
Yeah,
dude, I just don't know what to think about Buckner because, like, would he have torched them? Like,
I don't think
I don't
so.
know. Like, if you got
No.
cooked by Marshall, I don't know that you're going to do any better against Cal.
So
Just the truth.
I hate to like bring it all up again because we've said it so many times, but like Buckner has already proven to me, and hopefully he'll change that in the future and get better. But he's not the guy. Off
Mhm,
this game, I'd say Pine isn't as either, but I think he has more potential than Buckner because like you said, the stats really weren't bad, and that's not to say that that's what how this game really went, but if he could do a little better with the stats
mhm.
already being as great as they were, like the little things, just catching the fucking handoff and or the
Yeah,
snap and like the smallest things and maybe making a couple passes like that one to Mayer that was too high.
mhm.
We're a different team if he can just improve slightly. So I think I'm happier with Pine out there than I am with Buckner was in the first 2 games.
I mean, when you can run through that guy, the dude's incompletions and be like, threw into the ground, like first, second drive, overthrew Mayer, Styles dropped it. There's
Yeah.
4 of the 6. There's literally 4 of the 6.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
I mean, think if he hits Mayer, okay. Think if Styles catches it. Now we're
Yeah.
talking about a guy going 19,
4 incompletions in the
4.
game, and then
Yeah,
how many more yards too?
right, right. And how many or like Lindsey doesn't get the false start. Maybe we go down and we get some points.
Mhm.
There's just there's like you exactly what you said is exactly correct. Nail on the head. The smallest things could make the world's difference for him in the offense. Like that's just really what it is. A snap here, a catch there, a not don't miss that guy there, and we might be talking about a blowout. I mean, really though. because the ball
Yeah.
he missed Mayer on, he was going to be running.
Yep. It's
So,
crazy to think because we only won by 7, and it
mhm.
was a close fucking game. But a few adjustments, and I'm much more positive about this team. And I have not said that the last 2 weeks at all.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. I still don't love our defense. I think we had 6 sacks. So we did a lot of good things. I think we probably should have had 9
Yeah,
if we were a little more
honestly,
under
man.
control, which is hard to be too negative on because we played well in that aspect, but we also lost containment way too many times.
Mhm.
And then I feel like we gave up some really easy plays. Now, luckily, Jack Plummer, is that his name? I
Jake or
already
Jack,
forgot.
whatever.
He sucks, and he couldn't make a pass to save his fucking life. So if he was a good quarterback, we lose straight up
Yeah.
because he was fucking terrible. He missed every pass, wide open passes that were like just lead the guy and he's gonna go for 50 yards. He was terrible.
Well, let's talk about that too. So I believe that he completed like 43% of his passes, which is dog shit.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say
two of the balls that he completed weren't
we're
catching.
dropped.
They
Yeah,
were incomplete. Whoever the fuck is reviewing Notre Dame shit should be fired. You're fired because
not
they weren't even close. Like you could see they weren't catches, and then the one for sure led to a touchdown.
Yeah, so they basically got a touchdown that shouldn't have counted, but we also kind of did too
Yeah,
because we got the offsides penalty
the phantom offsides.
that we don't really know where it came from. Like we have no idea who was offsides even on the replay. There could have been somebody, but we didn't see it.
No, and the thing of it is like I think there was some guy, some d bag from ESPN, who was like basically claiming home cooking on Twitter and just saying a bunch of things. But like the fact of the
No,
matter
man.
is that Cal had just as many calls go their way
They
that did
had
not
like
go
the
Notre
biggest play of the game go their way. That
Dame.
long pass that got dropped.
I mean
That
that the interception, I mean there not that the interception was questionable because it was targeting, but like shit,
yeah.
like there was a lot that went plenty in Cal's favor.
Yeah, and so we're kind of to the end of the game now. We're up 24-17. They get the ball back. Of course, we're losing containment of the god, Jack Plummer, and he's getting outside, torching us. And then they get to like the 40 or something. And this play happens where I think this was the fumble that we recovered,
Yeah, we
right?
thought initially a fumble.
Yeah, we thought it was a fumble. We recovered it for a touchdown, and then they called it back.
That
Of
was already
course.
after the
And that
interception.
was after the interception that they called back. So they had 2 plays of just fucking craziness. And so they get like a third pitch at scoring a touchdown. And it maybe was one of the best ones I've ever seen. So I'm going to play it real quick for you guys.
Back for the Irish. Here comes Foskey. Forces a pressure. Plummer gets away from it. Now lofts this toward the end zone. And that pass is still in the air and finally incomplete.
How many people touched that fucking ball?
Too fucking many. And honestly, like Brandon Joseph, hey, Mr. All American, who's been here before, bat the fucking ball down. And I know that's what they said when they watched film. And I'm sure he was just excited and thought he was going to catch it.
Gonna
But
pick it
dude,
off.
know the situation.
Dude,
You're
yeah.
literally in the end zone. Knock it the fuck down.
So that was like the play at real speed, but I'll show the replay in slow motion so we can get a better grip on who all touched the ball. I'll even count how many people touched it.
Oh my God.
And some of those guys touched it twice, but there were
There were like 6 or 7 touches with 5 or 6 people touching it.
mhm.
And the last guy, I don't know who it was, the guy on the cow that was rolling on the ground that touched it like 3 times before it hit the ground. He catches that 99 times out of 100. I swear that was actually an easy catch after it hit his arm and like was right in front of him. If he just goes like this, he catches it, but he just was, I don't know, too excited. That should have been a touchdown. It's crazy to think that we only won this by 7 and we damn near should have lost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, keep in mind they missed a field goal. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot that happened. Like easily, like it could have gone the other way. Easily. Or you know what? I think if they score, I think they probably go for 2.
I probably would have went for 2.
Yeah.
With Jack Plummer back there. My God.
Good God.
QB run.
I thought that was Lamar Jackson, the way we were losing contain.
Dude, crazy. And it's so funny too, because like we said, we had 6 sacks, but somehow still he was torching us on the ground. He had 35 yards rushing and 6 sacks.
Yeah.
So you have to think like he lost 30 yards ish getting sacked and then gained another 35. So that means he essentially gained like 75, 65 yards rushing in that game.
When I think what was crazy is that he would be running and it would legit seem like there was not a soul in the universe around him.
Yeah, it's like the only guy on screen was him.
It was crazy.
But luckily we pulled it off. It wasn't the prettiest thing ever, but I'm really fucking glad we won finally.
It feels good. I mean, to have won, and I think that it was a good building piece. There were pieces of that you know you can improve on for sure. There were parts of the game that you liked, like the O-line, the sacks, getting the pressure. There were a lot of things you could build on positively going into North Carolina. So I wasn't happy by any
No, I was not happy.
At least this game you could pick out, oh, that was okay. That we could do that a little better, and that shouldn't be too hard. You know, it just something positive to look at.
Yeah, I still am not a big fan of Tommy. I don't think he's a great offensive coordinator. Now, we can't base it off this game because Pine was kind of all over the place, dropping the ball, and
everyone was all over the place.
I think he called a better game than he was with Buckner, and I still am not a fan of him, and I still think he should be on the hot seat. But
I think he is. He's definitely on the hot seat.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I do think we have hope for the future and the rest of the season. I mean, fuck, we have 9 more games, so we better have something.
I know that, like, the question was asked, you know, like they have the pressers and stuff all the time today, and it was already brought up to Freeman about going into the transfer portal and looking for quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
And he basically said they didn't do it this year because they didn't think they needed to, and basically that they'll reevaluate this offseason. AKA, we're going into the transfer portal and we're getting a fucking quarterback. I don't know who it's going to be, but Notre Dame's going to get someone. There's no way we go into next year with no 23 quarterback commit in the quarterback room we have now. It's not going to happen. They're going to get somebody. I don't give a shit who it is. We're going to end up with a concrete shoes cone situation or something of that nature.
Do you expect to see the freshman at all this year?
Angeli, man, you know what? I mean, I think it's probably only going to happen if Pine gets hurt or he is literally just shitting the bed so bad that you have to just put the Angeli in and just see what the hell you've got.
And I think either one of those are possible.
I think some of it was this was Angeli's first week not running like the scout team, where he's like running the other team's offense to try to help our defense get prepared. Mm-hmm. So, like, as far as what his playbook knowledge is as a true freshman, who fucking knows? Like, we don't know even what his knowledge is. I'm sure it's not near that of a junior Drew Pine. So, all in all, I mean, while I'm willing to see what he's got, but I don't think that it's going to be anything so miraculous it turns the year around. I mean, I know stars don't dictate everything, but I think the kid was a 3-star guy. It's not like he was one of those real high upside freshmen that you could just throw in there like a Jimmy Clausen or a Dane Christ and Brady Quinn and just throw them out there. I mean, you
Dame
could.
Crest.
I mean, you know what I mean? When they came
No,
in
I
with
know with
that
a hot,
expectation,
yeah, you expect a lot out of
this
him.
this dude was supposed to be a project. This is supposed to be a guy that you don't see for until he's like a redshirt junior, and you don't really even want to see him then. Kind of like
Yeah,
Ian Book. Think about it.
yeah.
Did we ever really want to see Ian Book at quarterback when we were sitting there with Brandon Wimbush? There's a reason
No, but
Wimbush had that job.
I liked Book though. When he came in, I was
Yes,
definitely happy with Book.
I liked Book. I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying
No, I completely agree with
he
what
was
you're
never
saying.
supposed to
He
be
was
the
never
guy.
supposed to play.
Neither was Tommy Reese. Tommy Reese was never supposed to be the guy, and Book was never supposed to be the guy. And you know what? Drew Pine is never supposed to be the guy.
Yep.
So
But
let's
here
see
he
where it
is.
goes. And here we are again for
But
the last decade.
I think Angeli's going to play at some point just because, like, even last game, I think he was warming up on the sideline at one
That's what
point
someone tweeted.
when Pine got hit in the head.
Mhm.
Like, it's
I
going
think
to happen. Even if he doesn't get hurt bad, just go in for a play because he fucking hurt his hand or some random shit happens, you know?
he's going to get reps somewhere. I just hope that he gets them in a game that we're either hopefully just way up. I hope he gets reps in a game that we're way up in. Let's get his feet wet.
I
Because
think
here's
I'd bet my life that we're not going to be way up on a game this year.
I don't know, man.
Not one game we're gonna, dude. We're not way up on
No,
seasons where we're supposed to be so good,
but
and we
but
are,
as
and we're
crazy
never in that situation. How are we gonna do that this year?
as crazy as it is, I think the more that Pine I feel like it's easier for Tommy to call an offense with Pine than what it is with Buckner. Because there's so many more layers to what Buckner can do. I think that it's a very much more condensed and efficient offense that he can call when it's just Pine. And if the O-line blocking improves and continues to be what it is and we can run the ball some, I don't know. I'm not saying when we play Clemson, I'm not saying when we
Oh
play
yeah,
USC,
obviously not those
but
games, but
but I mean, there's some teams that we play. I mean, North Carolina, Appalachian State hung 60 points on North Carolina,
yeah.
and our defense is a lot better than Appalachian State's defense. I
I
don't know
don't
that
know,
our
man. At
offense is
this
any
point, I
better.
don't know what we compare to.
No, I don't know either. But I'm just saying, like, there's some. I have hope that we'll be able to get some guys on the field and hopefully get some experience that way. Because I don't even want to be optimistic about the offense, but if the O line plays well, a lot more is on the table. A
It's
lot more.
the problem is it's like if the O line plays well, if our wide receivers start catching the ball, if they start running the right routes, if they stop going off sides,
Yeah.
it's like we don't have any questions with Mayer, and we don't have any questions with our running backs.
No. And there's
We
there's a
have a
lot of
question with
levels.
everything else, and
There's a
that's
lot. You're
why I
right.
don't think
There's a
we're
lot
gonna
of
hang
levels
a
to
lot
it.
on anyone.
But every game that you play without an injury is another game of like gelling and
Yep.
and building. So like the O line has now played 3 games, all the same starters. Well, not Patterson, but he needs to gel the least of anyone.
Hmm.
So you've now got 2 or 3 games with the O line. You've now got a game with Pine. You've now got all your receivers and running backs having played together now. It's time to start building. Let's see some shots downfield. Let's see some
Yep.
some wrinkles that we didn't see against Cal. I think some of the reason that we were so like short up the middle here there, I don't think there was a lot of opportunity to stretch the field just based on the defense they were playing. But that's not always going to be the case. So, and you also need to find ways to create those opportunities. You can't just say, well, they're not giving it to us, so we're just going to dink and dunk the whole game, even though we can't really do that well.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think we will find opportunities and we will gel. Just using last year as an example, we started out so bad offensively and on the O line, not necessarily scoring, but we gelled, and then our O line looked great like the second half of the season, even a little before that. So we're already kind of doing that this year, and hopefully with Pine back there, it'll be a different look and less play action, less questionable what we're doing, so the O-line can know what they're doing if they're run blocking or pass blocking, and not the RPOs and all that bullshit.
Right.
But I don't really have much else to say. We'll do a breakdown later in the week, but I do want to give a huge shout out to Tommy Reese for shouting us out this week on the game.
Drew, your fucking job is to tell everyone about Irish Uncensored. Tell them to like and subscribe. What the fuck are you doing? Do your fucking job. Go fucking like the video and click subscribe. That's all you fucking do.
So thank you so much, Tommy. I mean, I really appreciated that as an Irish Uncensored member, along with Grant. Didn't you appreciate that?
I mean, what a classy guy, Tommy.
Yep. So Tommy was thinking about us during the game, so I just wanted to shout that out. So I appreciate it. But everyone, like and subscribe, listen to Tommy, and go Irish.
Go Irish.